disarmament of Hamas. Netanyahu, in a video message from Washington, said that it could not be achieved through negotiations. Israel would achieve it by force.
We are trying to achieve the release of half of the live and the dead hostages in exchange for a temporary 60-day ceasefire. At the beginning of the ceasefire, we will enter negotiations for a permanent end of the war. In order to achieve this must be done according to the minimal conditions that we have set. Hamas lays down its weapons. Gaza will be disarmed.
Recapping the top story, a family of 5 has died during a shack fire in Olivenhoutsbosch in Centurion, Pretoria this morning. It's not clear what caused the fire, but a member of the community says the deceased included a mother, her children and grandchildren. For SFM News, I am Anne Musa.
If you think you cannot afford a lawyer, think again. Clientele Legal has made professional legal services affordable for you. Whether it's a civil, criminal, or labor-related matter, we have a nationwide panel of attorneys standing by to assist you. SMS SAFM to 32195. That's SAFM to 32195 and we'll call you back. Clientele General is a licensed non-life insurer and an authorized FSP. Standard rates and terms and conditions apply.
Spar brings you super savings. Get 750ml Sunlight dishwashing liquid refill for $26.99 and save 11 Rand, or 400ml Vaseline lotion or cream for $49.99 and save 28 Rand. Plus, you could win your share of 6 million Rand in instant cash. Price is valid until 21 July 2025 while stocks last. T's and C's apply.
I'm Shakira O'Malley and I'm a centre-back. What I like so much about living in South Africa is the beaches. So being able to go to the beach and just relax and just let go of literally everything. I had a good laugh this morning at breakfast. I think we were all having a conversation. Everybody was interacting. If I won $1 million after a good game, I'd definitely not tell my teammates. Definitely not. I'm taking that $1 million and going home. Tune in to SABC Sport to watch Banyana compete in the AFCON and defend another title.
Proudly brought to you by SABC Sport.
This Mandela Month, Nelson Mandela once said,
"We have traveled a long journey. We have fought for peace and reconciliation, for social justice, for all men, women, and children."
SAFM, leading the conversations that move us.
The Talking Point with Cathy Mohlahlana. Weekdays, 9 a.m. till midday.
You're listening to The Talking Point. Welcome to the second hour of the show. It's 8 after 10 o'clock as we lead conversations that move us. Coming up in this hour, we're going to be looking at the question or the issue of consent, the topic of consent. Let me not say it's an issue, but the topic of consent, and in particular in relation to not only raising young boys, but also what does the law have to say about consent, and really trying to understand this topic of consent a little bit better. It again came out of a request from one of our listeners who is a dad to a number of boys, and basically said, he is wanting to know what are the tools that he as a dad can be given to better equip his young boys for the world that they're growing into, and being sensitized to all of these issues that sometimes arise within society. It's 9 after 10 o'clock. What we'll do is we'll take a couple of your WhatsApp voice notes and then get straight into our conversation.
Conversations that you connect with and react to. SAFM.
Hi, Cathy. Hoping you're well. This is Daniel. Cathy, when Lieutenant Mkhwana was make those allegations against the Minister of Police, Senzo Mkhunu, Mr. Senzo Mkhunu responded by saying, he will respond. But up to now, where he has said nothing. He has just gone into hiding. Why is he keep quiet? Why is not responding to this allegation? Cathy, we don't know. Thanks, Cathy.
Good morning, Sis Cathy and the SAFM listeners. On the Ramaphosa Sunday issue, we are expecting that the president should remove all implicated ministers and deputy ministers in his cabinet. Other than that, we are not only focusing on the Minister of Police. There are many implicated people in his cabinet, so he must make sure that he takes the country into his confidence. Bashimani in Limpopo.
Good morning, Cathy. It's 2Gs, Pretoria. I want to talk about the address of the president on Sunday. The president must not make it a sauna address. He must stick to the point than to give us a long lecture. It's a criminal address. He must go into the point. No jika. Thanks, Cathy.
Morning, House Cathy. Rasira here from Limpopo. Why does Ministers Senzo Mkhunu not make life easy for the president and just resign and not even wait for Sunday? That will assist the president.
Good morning, House Cathy. Very quickly, you see what was said by the General Mkhwana, it just confirmed that there is another world, House Cathy, that is existing, that you and I, we have no idea, where people are making money, people are involved in these cartels. House Cathy, that world is a very dangerous world. I'm telling you, even the committee that has been assembled, they're not going to come up with anything. Because this is an organized world where everybody is connected to everybody in that world. House Cathy, we are in for a very big trouble. Nice show as always.
Sawana Mamasita, I agree with you 100% when you say we need the names first. This is a very sensitive matter. I believe Mkhwana's though, he wouldn't brief the media if he doesn't have any evidence. So let the president address the nation on Sunday. We'll hear from him after that, but I believe Mkhwana will be given a chance. Mapati and Randbeck.
Good morning, Sis Cathy. Mandla here in Heidelberg. The people who are saying ANC is not going to come back into power. It should be the very same people who will make sure that they educate people, their kids, all the citizens around their communities to go and vote. We must start taking charge of our communities, educate every person we come across to go and vote, and to show people that if we don't vote, this is what we are going to deal with in our country. Thank you.
We've upgraded. Our new GIS-linked national address database lets us connect with you better than ever before. By visualizing licensed and unlicensed households nationwide, we can ensure timely communication. Our payment reminders are a crucial tool to help you stay compliant and avoid penalties, empowering you to take proactive steps. Efficient electronic communication helps us collect fees seamlessly, bolstering the SABC's mandate in line with Section 27 of the Broadcasting Act. TV licenses. Pay yours. Make a difference.
Join us for this year's fundraiser, Jazz for Young People concert at the National School of the Arts on the 26th of July. This unique event, perfect for families, is a powerful celebration of youth, creativity, and community spirit. So bring the whole family to enjoy a wonderful day of world-class jazz curated by Zoe Mudicha, featuring the Parktown Girls Band, Tshwane School of Music, The Real DJ Zandi, Kutlotaro Jazz Band, and many others. Tickets are just 80 Rand and 50 Rand for kids under 12 via Quicket. Jazz for Young People is proudly brought to you by Standard Bank Joy of Jazz.
The Atlas Lionesses want to demonstrate that the only satisfying result is a win. Meanwhile, the Teranga Lionesses want to brighten the evening of the Senegalese with maximum points. The North collides with the West. This is the Total Energies Women's Africa Cup of Nations Morocco 2024. Morocco is up against Senegal on Saturday 12 July at 8:30 p.m. Streaming live on SABC Plus and S3. Where Africa competes, South Africa connects. Proudly brought to you by SABC Sport. For the love of the game.
Hi, I'm Khomotso KG Mweketi, and I believe in music's ability to connect, to heal, to remind, and to bring joy. And each week on my Saturday and Sunday show Seasons right here on SAFM, I endeavor to do just that. So join the movement of Seasons every Saturday and Sunday, 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. It's addictive. You might invite a friend. Seasons, only on SAFM 104 to 107 nationwide with me, KG Mweketi.
Cathy Mohlahlana is streaming live now on Facebook, YouTube, and X at SAFM Radio.
You're listening to The Talking Point. We continue then with our conversation for this hour, which is taking a look at the topic of consent and the kind of conversations then that it should be triggering, not only amongst older men, but in particular amongst young men as well, so that they grow up knowing and understanding exactly what it means. Joining us for this conversation, Karen Farad is the CEO of Girls and Boys Town. Karen, good morning to you.
Good morning, Cathy. It's a pleasure to be with you, and also good morning to your fellow guests and listeners.
Thank you, Karen. Tsepo Mokoena is the founder of Moving Ahead Development Agency. It's a non-profit organization, and it deals with a program called Boys to Men that mentors young boys. Tsepo, good morning to you.
For having me out, Cathy.
Advocate Brenda Madumise Pajibo is a director at Wise for Africa. Advocate Brenda, good morning to you.
Good morning, Cathy, and good morning to fellow panelists and all the listeners.
So I want to play this clip, and it was a call we received from Patrick. And, you know, just I think in the last 2 months, we've been taking a look at different aspects and different conversations that relate to gender-based violence, but in particular looking at the state of the boy child and, you know, talking to organizations that are working with young boys. And they raise the issue of consent and how often in the sessions that they will run, they will find that young boys still grapple with understanding the idea of consent, and they grapple with really being able to know what is consent and what does it mean, especially within a sexual context. And I find that, you know, it's not just the young boys, but if you look at some of the cases that we find before our courts, it very much, ranges right through up to older men too. But this was really a concerned call from one of our listeners, Patrick, who's raising young boys, and he felt that they need to be more tools that parents are empowered with when it comes to this conversation. So let's listen to what Patrick had to say.
I'm raising 3 boys. I've got boys only. I don't have a girl child. On the news, there is a girl who went out with her boyfriend. The following day, the girl told the police, I think the parents were involved, she was abducted and raped. My worry is this. If this thing happened to me, that my child goes out with somebody's child, and the girl, maybe for being afraid that her parents are going to punish her, and she turns around and says, she was right. Don't you think we're compromising our boy child? Because I don't ever hear, maybe I'm ignorant, I don't know, you will help me in this regard. I don't ever hear points that are more defending the boy child. Most of the topics are supporting a girl child. I don't say the girl child shouldn't be supported. I support it fully. But my worry is this. It's compromising a boy child because our boy kids, I don't want to say they don't have a guidance. I teach my kids. You don't ever raise your hand on a girl. You don't ever rape it. It's a given. You don't do that. It's the wrong thing to do. But what am I going to do or say in a case whereby a girl child lies and says she was raped, only to find that my child didn't rape her, as it is the case with what I've heard on the news?
All right. So Patrick there is referencing a news story where a young woman had, claimed that she had been abducted and raped, and laid charges. The following day, the police then came out to say the charges have been withdrawn because the girl was afraid of admitting to her parents that she had gone out because she knew that they would be very angry with her, which is why then she resorted to lying about what happened. That clip doesn't quite put it in the way that I expected, but it's the context from which Patrick was speaking from. Karen, these are undoubtedly, I think, important but also complex issues that we have to deal with as a society. And I guess from Patrick's point of view, it's about saying, how do I know that I have fully empowered my child to follow the steps that they need to, so that in the wake of an accusation, they will be able to give a story that is credible, but that also shows that there was no intention to violate?
Yes, Cathy, I think what you've just raised now is that these issues are complex, and certainly in this instance, we don't have all the information. However, the point is that boy and girl children are equally vulnerable, both by what is done to them and also then by what they do. What they do is often informed by what they've experienced and what has been normalized in their homes and in society. So I think it's a very complex issue. It is really important about how we raise both our boy and girl children, and that those things have to be done in tandem. The empowerment, education of both boys and girls is equally important, particularly when it comes to sexual relations or relations with others, because we are living in a society that is dominated, I would use that word, by violence against others in all spheres. And so, by rearing boys to be respectful, not to resort to imposing themselves on others, is really critical and important. In the same way, girls need to be aware of circumstances that they're going to put themselves in, and how to manage and deal with that. But the other important element is obviously the adults in the scenario, and the parents and caregivers, and what they do and how they engage with children, particularly about relations and sexual relations with others, because we know children at far younger ages are engaging in sexual relationships.
Karen, where should we be starting that conversation, especially because I think that there are tools, as you're saying, that both young boys and young girls need to be given to help them navigate sexual relationships, and also understand what their rights are and understand what a violation is, so that they're able to identify some of these things, whether they're good or bad.
So, I think, where do we start that conversation, Cathy? It's a very pertinent question. Because I think that, we're now starting the conversation at this point at the end of the spectrum, right? Things have already happened. So it's important that we go back to educating the Department of Education and what is done in school environments for children in terms of life skills and, those educational programs that we have at schools. But also, going back even further than that, we are, again, in our society, we have a high level of teenage pregnancy. So young women becoming mothers, then bearing children, and who are not equipped, to deal with that. And then there's also lack of support within those settings. So a lot of work needs to be done at early intervention and preventative levels with children and with adults and with those becoming parents. And then the conversations that we have in our own homes constantly with our own children, because things also shift and change. Nothing is static. And in this age of, we live in a digitized world with access to so much information and, just materials that are also of concern. So all of those things need to be, we need to talk to our children and we need to listen to our children, and we need to also understand the developmental stages that our children are at and what that might mean and what they may be going through, so that we are always alert to that and that we're constantly, engaging with them. This is at the home level, but also in the communities where we are engaging with children and schools, although most or some children may not be in school. But that would be an environment in which we have to educate and continually, just empower girls and boys equally in those circumstances.
Tsepo, where would you say we should be beginning with this conversation?
Thank you very much, Cathy. Each and every house, I think it should have its own constitution, whereby you give guidelines to your children, especially a boy child, even a girl child, to be able to say that if a woman or if your girlfriend says no, it's no. There's this notion that if a girl says no, she's actually saying yes. But that's not what it is. Okay? So everything must start at home. I think if you guide your children, like what Patrick said, then it becomes much more easier, because our children are faced with peer pressures outside there. There's this social media, the TikToks and so forth and so forth. So those things are confusing them, and then that's why the level of drugs is so high. And I had that experience with my son, and one morning I said, "But why did you go into these things in the first place?" And then he said, "Dad, I'm clean now for 5 years, but it was peer pressure, because I felt left out if I didn't smoke a cigarette. It was like I'm stupid or something." And so it with the issue of sex. So, but then I'm going back to that's how we were raised in the olden days. And I think this thing must come from home, whereby each and every parent must be able to sit down with a girl child and a boy child and say, this is how you should do things, this is how things are done. I remember, Cathy, when my daughter went out for matric dance. The current matric dance, which in the olden days we didn't do that. And then the mother said, no, there's a boy who's going out with the daughter for matric dance. Then I said to my ex-wife that I need to see that boy. Then it was a fight. Why do you want to come in between this thing? This is just an ordinary boy. But then I forced those matters. I said, remember, there's a constitution in this house, and we're going to follow that constitution. And the only reason why I wanted to see that boy was to ask him, who are you? Where do you come from? Who are your parents? So that I don't hand over my daughter to a boy that I don't know where he comes from. Maybe it's just a loose boy and so forth. And I satisfied myself because I actually went down and met the parents, and the parents said, thank you very much for doing that. Okay. And I told him, I said, you take my daughter, you bring her back.
Tsepo, I'm going to pause you there. We'll continue this conversation shortly. Advocate Brenda, I'll also be giving you a chance to come in a moment. Now it's 10:30, time for the headlines.
Good morning, I'm Anne Musa. In the headlines, the Randburg Magistrates Court has granted bail to the 12 SANDF Special Task Force members accused of the murder of Hawks investigator Frans Matipa. The case against embattled businessman Vuzimuzi Cathy Mohlahlana and his 3 co-accused has been postponed to next month at the Alexandra Magistrates Court. The 4, including Mohlahlana's wife, face multiple charges, including the attempted murder of Mohlahlana's ex-girlfriend. And a family of 5 has died during a shack fire in Olivenhoutsbosch in Centurion in Pretoria this morning. It's not clear what caused the fire. Details on these and other stories at 11.
Taking a look at your markets this morning, the rand is currently trading at 17 rand 83 to the dollar, 24 rand 12 to the pound, and 20 rand 83 to the euro. Markets in Asia were mixed at the closing bell. The JSE mixed in mid-morning trade. Markets in Europe are slightly weaker. Gold is trading at $3,341. Platinum $1,339 per ounce. The price of Brent crude oil is at $70.25 a barrel.
Keeping your family healthy this winter can feel like a daunting task. Try the Lung Shield range. It includes capsules to support healthy lungs and immunity, a syrup for kids that supports the immune system and promotes lung health, and an effervescent with 13 essential ingredients to optimize immune function. Put your family's health first this winter with the Lung Shield range. Available without a prescription at leading pharmacies. Lung Shield, prescribed by doctors, recommended by pharmacists.
We plan for vacations, retirement, and even tonight's dinner. But do we plan for our health? It's how we protect our family's future. So who are you staying healthy for? And how can you protect their future? Choose Dis-Chem Life, the life cover that helps you live a healthier, more rewarding life with health checks and extra rewards. Visit dischemlife.co.za now. Dis-Chem Life. Choose a better partner for life. Dis-Chem Life is an authorized FSP 50594, underwritten by Guard Risk Life, a licensed life insurer FSP 76. T's and C's apply.
The Twiga Stars want to impress the Tanzanians with maximum points, while Banyana won nothing but a win as a reminder that they are the continental champions. This is the Group C clash of the Total Energies Women's Africa Cup of Nations Morocco 2024. Catch the glittering clash between Tanzania and South Africa on Friday 11 July at 8:30 p.m. Streaming live on SABC Plus, SABC Sport on DTT Channel 4 and S3. Also available on SABC radio stations at 9 p.m. Where Africa competes, South Africa connects. Proudly brought to you by SABC Sport. For the love of the game.
SAFM is streaming live now on Facebook, YouTube, and X at SAFM Radio. The Talking Point with Cathy Mohlahlana. Weekdays, 9 a.m. till midday.
While we continue the conversation on the Talking Point, we're looking at the conversation around consent and how we begin to equip our young boys in particular, but also young girls in understanding some of these concepts, especially as it relates to their sexual behavior. Tsepo, you were just talking about part of what you are doing in your own house to educate your children, but also the initiative that you as a parent are showing, and you're saying that that's how involved parents have to be.
Yeah, thanks, Cathy. Yeah, so I'm saying in a nutshell, what I'm saying is this whole concept of how you can mentor your children or how you can guide your children, it must start from home, okay? Because the issue of consent is like you say, that it's something else that you can get married to a wife and you stay together. If she says no, she says no. If you force yourself into her, it's a rape by law. You see, so consent is all about how you were also raised, how you respect the next person, how you take no as an answer. You see? So it's the time saying the consent is very, very deep. You understand? From my understanding, so we teach these young boys to respect themselves, because respect starts with you. Okay, if somebody says no, just walk away.
Okay. Advocate Brenda, often, as part of this conversation, we're made to believe that there are gray areas, including from a legal point of view around consent, what is consent, what isn't consent. And often when we have cases that are unfolding, including on national TV, etc., it seems to bring that conversation back to the fore. Do you think that there are any gray areas around consent?
No. There are no gray areas, and I'll tell you why I say so. So we've got a Supreme Court of Appeal judgment, the Coco matter. So if those of you are aware of that case, and are not aware of it, I would urge everyone to read that case, because it has settled the consent issue once and for all for South Africans. If you follow that case, it was a rape case. A woman laid a rape case against someone that she knew, and she had consented to, and she was verbal about it, consented to express kissing only. Right? I'm going to be with you this afternoon, but please, I'm only willing to kiss and nothing more. However, the partner decided to do more and forced himself on her and raped her, and she laid a charge of rape. In the lower court, she was not found. He was not found guilty, because the judges at the time believed that there was implied consent. The fact that she had consented to kissing, they believed that it was giving consent to other things. The Supreme Court of Appeal has given us a clear protocol on what constitutes consent. If I consent to kissing or I consent to fondling, it does not mean I have consented to anything else, right? Once you go over what I had consented to, that now enters a different realm. And if you force yourself and penetrate me, it's rape. So it's very clear. So if you think that you have bought me Savannah because we've gone out, and that Savannah gives you and entitles you to then force yourself on me and rape me, we now have the law. The law says if I consent to you going out with you for dinner, and I agree to go with you to your home, and I agree that we can kiss, and you decide that you go to do more than that, and I have said no to you, that I don't want you to go beyond the kissing, that is not consent, and that constitutes rape. So there's no implied consent. So let's be clear, and I want South Africans to look at that case, because it sets the parameters of what we think is acceptable, or what we think consent is or it's not. The second thing that I also want to emphasize is parents need to know that a 12-year-old, 13-year-old, 14-year-old, 15-year-old cannot consent to sex if the party they're engaging with is over the age of 16. Once that happens and your daughter had gone out without you knowing, and she's a 12-year-old or a 13-year-old, and the person that she was with is a 17-year-old and 18-year-old, and they engage in sex, that is statutory rape. It's not consensual, even though the consent would have been there because that child was there. It is we've got the law in this country that a 12-year-old, a 13-year-old, 14-year-old, 15-year-old cannot consent to sex. So let parents be aware and ensure that they protect their children, whether boy or girl, in understanding what consent means. And simply, you need to ask yourself, is it okay for me to fondle someone if they don't want to be fondled? And I think Tsepo spoke about the respect. So if we appreciate that and know that I can't think that I'm entitled to someone else's body, that I can do as I please with that body because I think I'm masculine, I have more force and power than this person, and you think it's okay to do that, then you have to face the consequences of that action. And I think we need to start to drill it in our children, but also adults. We're sitting with the case of a judge at the moment who believed that by wanting the clerk to take off her jacket and so that he could admire her and make those sexist comments, it's okay because with him it's a closer culture, and we explain away and justify this nonsense with using culture. So I think we have to be persistent as parents, as leaders in our respective fields, to keep on sending the message for our children and also others to understand the boundaries.
You've raised such an important word, Advocate Brenda, and it's about boundaries. And I'm thinking about Patrick and maybe conversations that he should be having with his children in as far as it relates to those boundaries, because part of what also happens is that then due to the conversations, due to the nature of gender-based violence cases that we deal with in the country, we also don't want a state of paralysis where people feel, well, then now I don't know what to do. So how can we as adults, as parents, begin to equip young people with those tools, whether it's our children, whether it's children in the community, around where and what the boundaries are? So if I've had a sexual encounter with a woman, how can I confidently walk away from that experience knowing that I have not violated her in any way? Are there things that I can do? Is there a checklist to satisfy that young boys, men can use to satisfy themselves that they have not violated that person?
Who are you asking, Cathy?
I'm asking you, Advocate Brenda.
Yeah. So simple things like, is it okay? Right? And I'm going to use this word okay, because when you are sitting as whoever, whether you are partners or whatever, Cathy, let's talk about making the other party feel comfortable. Is it okay for me to do this? And the person will say yes or no, right? And you need to and keep on pressing. Is it okay for me to go to the next level? The person says, I'm comfortable. And when you see the hesitancy from the other party, take a step back and satisfy yourself that this person is comfortable with doing this act, right? And it's important that we do that, because for most of us as women, we have not been able to negotiate for ourselves and have a voice, even in an intimate relationship, right? There are many women who are professionals who were even too scared in a relationship to demand that a condom be used, even though they wanted a condom to be used, because they were thinking about the next person. So most of the time is that we are thinking about the next person. We're not thinking about ourselves. So that's what we need to teach our girl children, that in any relationship, even in a sexual relationship, think for yourself and think and be able to communicate and verbalize that, right? Because we live in a society that has made sure that it mutes those voices at all times. So when we do this work, all of us in our respective NGOs, in our engagement with young women, young men in the churches, in the school, for instance, because remember, the external voices play a huge role in how kids formulate their perceptions of things. You can tell them something as parents at home, and then someone and will undo all of that in a conversation at school or in a TikTok video that they're playing. So we have to be vigilant as leaders, as activists, as parents, as counselors. Everyone has got a role to play in ensuring that we all understand that everyone has got boundaries. And what are those boundaries? Ask. There's a conversation. A relationship, it's a conversation between two adults. If it comes to children, it's there's no communication. Is about knowing that you can't violate a 12-year-old or 13-year-old if you are 16 or 17. And we need to make sure that parents are aware of that, and the children are aware of it, the teachers are aware of it. Everyone else who is charged with the responsibility of being with children the whole day has to be aware of all of that. So for me, Cathy,
sure,
fundamental, the conversation must happen at homes. And we think it's a luxury. It's not. It's just taking the temperature with your children every day and knowing what's going on.
Yeah, that question that you have put out, I think, is a crucial question that parents can begin with, in helping their children understand the topic of consent. Is it okay? Because it's not about what you think is happening. It is about what the other person, how they receive what is happening. If they feel it's not okay, then it's not okay. And right there becomes then the violation. Right there becomes the waters where things begin to become murky and difficult. Karen, I want us to build on where Advocate Brenda has sort of left it off here, and again come back to the ways in which parents can be equipping their children. I believe that the questioner asks us, telling children, telling young adults to continuously ask within a sexual engagement framework, is it okay? And it seems sometimes people don't want to ask that question because they're either afraid of the answer, or, you'll hear some saying, no, I don't want to ruin the mood. And one wonders, how can a mood be ruined by such a critical thing that will determine how whatever happened is perceived after it has happened, not only after, but even during whatever is happening is happening.
Yeah, I think, Cathy, again, the complexities of all of this, and particularly when we're talking about adolescents and, everything that they are dealing with, it's a very difficult developmental stage where you're also dealing with, beginning to know yourself, wanting to have the acceptance of others and particularly of your peers. So, building the esteem and the children and young people, that belief and confidence in themselves, and having that, just having the assurance of, in the situation, I am going to verbalize that I'm not comfortable and I'm saying no to what is happening in this very moment. And then to have just feel comfortable with that. And I think that's what most young people struggle with. And we must remember that both boys and girls are violated. And the statistics around that are huge and for different reasons, because every child's circumstance experiences are different. And they then find themselves in situations where what has happened before plays out. So I think it's just, and I know we're talking about, talking to our children in our homes. We must also remember that many of our children do not have the luxury of a family, do not have support network and have parents around them. There's a great number of children who don't have that. So just again, as I think Cathy, Advocate Brenda also said, every environment where we're engaging with children, that those sort of conversations, building on children's self-esteem, giving them the confidence and the assurance to say no, and to be okay with that, so that they also are not feeling I'm going to be laughed at, I'm going to be ridiculed. And we know what happens in our society these days. Social media, children get shamed or embarrassed in the most sort of heinous ways. And there's a lot of potential after effects for children. So we have to have those networks around children.
Thanks for that contribution, Karen. We've got a break coming up. We'll take that, and then Tsepo will also give you another chance to come in.
If you think you cannot afford a lawyer, think again. Clientele Legal has made professional legal services affordable for you. Whether it's a civil, criminal, or labor-related matter, we have a nationwide panel of attorneys standing by to assist you. SMS SAFM to 32195. That's SAFM to 32195 and we'll call you back. Clientele General is a licensed non-life insurer and an authorized FSP. Standard rates and terms and conditions apply.
My name is Renelle Tamlin Donnelly, and I play striker. What do my teammates call me instead of my actual name? As you know, guys, because I wear a weave, so they call me Slay Queen. Guys, I slay it, so yeah, my favorite hairstyle is a weave. Have I already planned my secret celebration for when I score my first goal at RAFCON? I have, but secret is the code, so tune into SABC Sport to catch my secret celebration in the WAFCON tournament.
Proudly brought to you by SABC Sport.
Tani Esther, or should I say the Tupperware Tani? How's business going?
Business is booming. I've been operating out of the boot of my car for 10 years, but shame, it couldn't keep up with my growing empire.
Okay, so you sold it to We Buy Cars?
Yes, quick. Sold my old one, bought a bigger one. I even sold some of my Tupperware to the friendly guy who picked up my car.
Stick to what you know best, eh, Tani?
Excuse me?
Never mind. We Buy Cars. Geared for your business, geared for you.
Cathy Mohlahlana is streaming live now on Facebook, YouTube, and X at SAFM Radio.
Morning, Sisi Cathy. Sisi Cathy, the no must be a no, a clear no, not an ambiguous no. And the other problem we have as human beings, there is this norm and belief that when it comes to sexual activities and participation, the man or the boy leads the way, not the other way around. It's not so simple for a girl or a woman to approach a man to come, this is the time. They wait for the man or for the boy. So how do I know whether I'm leading the way the right way or I'm leading the right person, and where the no is ambiguous? There's a problem there. There's a problem. So complex. Nome from Brixton.
Good morning again, Cathy. That is a very important topic you are having there with your guest. My greetings to them. Look, then they must just teach all the ladies, go to a tavern, go to a pub, buy your own savannas. Don't expect someone to buy you a savannah because he will expect something in return. Go there with your own money, buy your own savannas. Thank you, Maroon.
All right. Thanks for those WhatsApp voice notes and views there. In response to the first one, Advocate Brenda says something so important that because the question was, how do I know if I'm leading correctly? You ask, is it okay? And at the sense of hesitation, the slightest hesitation, then that's a sign to take a step back. Don't ignore signs of hesitation. Jock, you're in KZN. Good morning.
Hello.
Hi, Jock.
Hi, how are you? Sorry, Cathy, I was just busy doing something else. Cathy, I wanted to say that it's more of a cultural thing than yes, they are men to blame for raping and abusing women. But I think women are putting themselves into circumstances that they can't control as well. Like I said, if you look at social media, you look at like even Mr. Kolisi, they are allowed to have people that are basically famous and that are in positions of power. They're allowed to actually carry on in the fashion that we are talking about now because they're given the privilege of not having a proper defense and not having the situation sorted out. So children are allowed to see things like that. I mean, if you look at the women currently on social media, most celebrities, at the end of the day, half their bodies are basically exposed. They're leaving they're leaving nothing to be wondered or not to be thought about. And sometimes, like I said, it's a man's fault where he's a boy and he's not a man and he can't control his feelings, because I think that's the greatest difference between a man and actually a boy. A boy cannot control his feelings where a man can. And I think, like I said, at the end of the day, there's something to be said about that, because if you look at the infection rates amongst women, it's 59% of new infections are with women. So it has to be that it mathematically it shows that the women are actually going with the same amount of men. If it wasn't so, then the men would also have an increase in terms of the number of infection rates or the AIDS pandemic at the moment.
Okay, so you're saying that that's a sign of what, Jock?
I'm saying that we can't just say that, like the advocate was saying, that women don't have the ability to complain and don't have they are undermined in terms of every single field that they expose. Especially the example that she gave with the judge president. Yes, I understand that she was put into a predicament in terms of where she felt that she would lose her job in terms of that status. But at the end of the day, she being someone that was within the legal field, she could have always stopped it at an earlier point and letting it carry on and allow the conversation to carry on and on and on. I'm saying to you, in terms of a layperson, how can we expect more from a layperson when a person that's in the justice system or in the law allows things to carry on like that? And yes, I understand what most women and men would say, that no, she was threatened or she was fearful for the loss of her job. But there has to be a difference between importance and protection. I mean, there's no one, I would never expose my daughter to anything to that effect, even though it would mean me losing my job. Because at the end of the day, how do we protect ourselves? We have to protect ourselves. So I'm saying the advocate is saying something that is partially true, but not holistically in terms of the entire view. Okay. The culture of the country has become that women are allowed to expose their bodies, behave in a manner that is unbecoming of a woman. If you take our country 40, 50 years ago, the culture was not for women to be sitting at bars, drinking, smoking, and allowing themselves to be dressing in a way that is not becoming of a woman.
Okay, Jock, we'll leave it there. Peter Makanda, good morning.
Hello?
Yes, sir.
Hello, is that Cathy?
Yes, sir.
Cathy, it's me from Makanda. I just wanted to jump into on this topic on consent. Listening to that Judge Benenge's case, there was a point where my wife was seated next to me, where the woman said, "Aini," and I just got worried if the interpreters picked that up. The woman, a true translation of Aini is like you have locked up someone in a room and you buzz in carrying a weapon or what, and the woman who's crying, Aini, she's saying, "Oh, for goodness sake, where are the people? Where are the people?" If you want a very classic absence of no consent, that would be a classic example. I thought to myself, listen, I'm a retired academic by profession, and I'm highly qualified in this linguistic dictionary. I have got awards in the meaning of words. I thought I could send a message to some authority as a friend of the court. I could go through the whole file, and just on translation, on consent, I could pick up, I tell you, a conviction would come out. I'm so bold as to say, but listen, I don't want to go that route. I'm 85. I have got but by lack of a word, of a title, I've been honored for my role in lexicography, in dictionary interpretation.
Oh, wow.
That one, yes, that one word out of this case, Haini, this woman is crying, said, for goodness sake, God forbid me. God, where are people? My wife is sitting next to me as I'm talking to you. She responds in that way. She says, man, what's happening to South Africa? But you know, the girls, the children who interpret, because I've seen them on TV, they are very young. They are not experienced. Translation is a literal business to them. There's more to people. I have had.
Okay, Peter. I'm so sorry to have to cut you off there. It's time for us to go to the latest news update. We'll give our guests an opportunity to round off their reflections on the other side of this.
Thank you, Cathy. On the top stories, SANDF members granted bail and Mahlala's case postponed. For SAFM News, I am Ondelambana, and a very good morning. The 12 SANDF Special Task Force members accused of the murder of Hawks investigator Frans Matipa have been granted bail of 10,000 rand each. They appeared in the Randburg Magistrates Court north of Johannesburg this morning. The 12 are also charged with the alleged kidnapping of Ethiopian national and alleged ISIS leader Abdullah Abadiga and his bodyguard in December 2022. Matipa was reportedly investigating Abadiga's disappearance when he was gunned down near Hammanskraal in Pretoria in August 2023. The case against embattled businessman Vusumuzi Ket Mahlala and his 3 co-accused has been postponed to next month at the Alexandra Magistrate Court. The 4, including Mahlala's wife, face multiple charges, including the attempted murder of Mahlala's ex-girlfriend. The controversial businessman has recently come under the spotlight for his alleged relationship to Police Minister Senzo Mchunu. Lupang Alamu has more.
2 of the 4 accused slightly hid their faces as they walked into the dock. Mahlala, his wife, and 2 other accused made a brief appearance at the Alexandra Magistrate Court this morning. Their charges include attempted murder and conspiracy to commit murder, all linked to the shooting of Mahlala's actress and socialite ex-girlfriend in 2023. Mahlala will remain in custody while his wife and 2 others remain on bail.
MK Party leader Jacob Zuma is attending the trial of alleged July 2021 unrest instigator Bonginkosi Khanyile underway in the Durban Regional Court. Khanyile is facing charges of inciting violence and contravening the Disaster Management Act. The court heard that just before the riots, Khanyile encouraged some people to go on the rampage until Zuma was released from prison. A family of 5 has died in a shack fire at Olive and Houtbosch in Centurion, Pretoria. It's not clear what caused the blaze. Community members say the deceased include a mother, her children and grandchildren. Officials in Pakistan say armed men have kidnapped and killed at least 9 bus passengers in the province of Balochistan. Authorities say the gunmen boarded 2 coaches bound for Punjab and abducted the victims. The BBC's Azeda Mushiri has more.
Police say a group of armed men blocked a road on the border of the Lorelei and Zub districts and forced some of the passengers off, having checked their identity papers first. They then allowed the coaches to carry on. Balochistan is home to several separatist groups who accuse the central government of exploiting the province's natural resources.
Recapping the top story, the Randburg Magistrates Court has granted bail to the 12 SANDF Special Task Force members accused of the murder of Hawks investigator Frans Matipa. I am Ondelambana for SAFM News. Headlines at 11:30.
Hashtag SAFM Talking Point.
We continue the conversation on the talking point coming up in this hour. Yes, it's still going to be the Friday wind down, but it's such an important conversation that we've been having in the 10 o'clock hour that I felt it was just important to extend it a bit so that we can satisfy ourselves in terms of fleshing out some of these issues. So we've heard then from some of our callers and also heard those WhatsApp voice notes. I'm going to give our guests an opportunity to share their reflections. Advocate Brenda Madumise Pajibo is director at Wise for Africa. Advocate Brenda, I understand that you have to leave us shortly, but let me then give you the first opportunity just to share your reflections on what our listeners have said and also to conclude your portion for this conversation.
So let me address what there's a gentleman who called and told us that things have changed. Women are not behaving like like women. I don't know how women were supposed to behave before. So it was acceptable that you can say that women cannot have the right to vote. Women cannot do this. The women have got to get the consent of their husband if they want to buy a property. So all of those things were done to actually strip women of their agency and of their identity, and we believe that is okay. Society believe that is fine because they need to be controlled. They need to be told what to do. So you infantilize women all the time. And the challenge that we are dealing with is that once that was taken away from the power and control that you thought you had as a man, you feel threatened and you believe that we need to go back to the dark ages where women must behave the way you want them to behave. We also go further to say women are dressed in the most unacceptable way. I don't know what is acceptable because we rape children who are still in nappies, who are wearing diapers, who are 5 months old, who are 6 months old, who are a year old in diapers. So dress code and how women look or dressed cannot be used as justification for why men behave the way they do. And we need to be changing the conversations and how we ask questions. Instead of wanting women to protect themselves against predators and shy away from dressing provocatively in the eyes of many, is to be asking the question: can men stop refrain from wanting to abuse, to think that they're entitled to touch without the necessary permission or consent to do so? Think it's okay to catcall a woman just walking on the street because you think you can, right? So let's start asking the questions differently instead of putting the burden on women to change who they are for the comfort of others, and really for the behavior and the misbehavior of those who are not willing to respect boundaries. I'm sick and tired of all of us trying to change how women should behave to placate, to make others comfortable. I change the way I dress. I can't wear a lipstick because if I wear a red lipstick, I'm seen to be a sex worker or a prostitute. All those things is because someone else has decided to categorize me and put it in that way, and then it gives them the license to violate me because they think I look a particular way. Let's change that. Let's look at how about you refraining from thinking that way and thinking that you can go a step further and violate me.
All right. Advocate Brenda, is that it from you?
Thank you. Yes, thank you. And thank you for the time and opportunity.
Thank you for being part of the conversation.
Yeah.
Tsepo, I know you probably have a lot to say. Let me give you a chance to do that. Hello, Tsepo.
Yes, can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yeah, I'm saying, firstly, I need to apologize for all men. Women have a right to wear how they want. Women have a right to do things that they think they are right for themselves. It is us men who must respect ourselves. It doesn't mean if somebody wears a short dress, it means she wants to be raped or she wants to a giveaway her private part. It's not true. Everybody wants to dress the way they want and how comfortable they want to be. So this notion that if women are revealing, it means they expose themselves to be raped, it's utter nonsense. And I need to apologize for men that you as women, you have a right to do what is good, what makes you to feel comfortable. As much as we as men, we have the right to wear how we want and wear clothes that makes us comfortable. Why women don't complain about us wearing revealing clothes, if may be. So that in itself is not acceptable. So everything boils down to respect. You must respect yourself. You understand? You must take no for an answer. Then that's how I want to close this. And also we must continue to mentor our boys, but in the same breath, we must also continue to mentor our girls. It must not be a one-sided type of a mentorship program. Thank you very much, Cathy.
All right. Thanks for that, Tsepo. Karen?
And firstly, I want to support the statements made by both Brenda and Tsepo. I think the patriarchal notion, ideas that we saw are stuck with are obviously very problematic. And to add to that, I just want to say that we need to teach boys and girls about building healthy relationships and understanding boundaries, both their own and of others. And we need to strongly work towards changing the mindsets of boys and girls, as well as the mindsets and behavior of men and women. I think where adults are engaging in relationships that are for transactional purposes, I think we need to change that. And also, again, as just to echo what Tsepo said, there has to be equal attention to boys and girls. We can't focus on one more than the other. There has to be attention to both boys and girls and how they experience themselves and behave in their interpersonal relationships with others. Thanks, Cathy.
Thank you so much for that contribution. And I guess if one truly wants to err on the side of caution, it is in accepting that consent is not perpetual, that people can change their mind, whether male, whether female, at any point in the engagement, whatever sexual engagement is happening. There is no perpetual consent. And ask the question, is it okay? And wait for an answer to that question. Don't assume it's okay. Wait for the answer to the question. All right, I think we should have more of these conversations because they are empowering in so many ways and enlightening too. That's where we leave it, though, with that particular conversation. I know you've been waiting for it, so let's get into the Friday wind down.
My name is Renelle Tamlin Donnelly, and I play striker. What do my teammates call me instead of my actual name? As you know, guys, because I wear a weave, so they call me Slay Queen. Guys, I slay it, so yeah, my favorite hairstyle is a weave. Have I already planned my secret celebration for when I score my first goal at WAFCON? I have, but secret is the code, so tune into SABC Sport to catch my secret celebration in the WAFCON tournament.
Proudly brought to you by SABC Sport.
The Talking Point with Cathy Mohlahlana. Weekdays, 9 a.m. till midday.
The Friday Wind Down. Kick off your weekend the right way.
langekhanyisela ubusuku bam, langelikhanyisela indlela yam, uthembekile uneqiniso, uyinjabulo nothando, dlala nami usiza umphefumulo wami, kukhanya konkuma kukhona wena, uthando lwakho yisibani sami, uthando lwakho injabulo yami, ngibonga kusomandla ngcwele, 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 ngcwele wesomandla, akekho fana nawe ngcwele, 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 ngcwele simakade, akekho fana nawe ngcwele, 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 ngcwele wesomandla, akekho fana nawe ngcwele, 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 ngcwele simakade, akekho fana nawe. Uhlala nami ukade inhliziyo yami, uhlambulula nemicabango yami, uhamba nami endleleni yami, themba lami ngiyabonga, ngikufisela konke okuhle emhlabeni, ngathi abadala bangahlale benawe, siphe sihle sivela kudali, insika yami nethemba lami, ngibonga kusomandla ngcwele, 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 ngcwele wesomandla, akekho fana nawe ngcwele, 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 ngcwele simakade, akekho fana nawe ngcwele, 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 ngcwele wesomandla, akekho fana nawe ngcwele, 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 ngcwele simakade, akekho fana nawe ngcwele, 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 ngcwele wesomandla, akekho fana nawe, siyakubonga somandla, siyakudumisa somandla, akekho fana nawe, siyakubonga somandla, siyakudumisa somandla, akekho fana nawe, ngcwele,
And that is Ngwele by our Friday wind down artist today, Miss Lou Lamini. Lou, good morning to you.
Good morning, Cathy.
The last time,
Lovely to hear your voice.
good to have you on air. The last time we spoke to you, we were in at least what was still your your province of residence. We were in Durban. Are you still in Durban?
I'm still in Durban and there's still sun outside.
I know. Ironically, it was winter again during that time, wasn't it? It was winter.
It was. It was around this time.
I came to Durban dressed for winter, and you were in a beautiful summer dress. And I thought, geez, why didn't you send me a WhatsApp message to warn me, to say, Cathy, leave your coats in Johannesburg? Well, it's great to have you on air, Lou, and to be having this conversation with you. And of course, Lou is a vocalist, a composer, and traditional instrumentalist. And, she, of course, she is now releasing a new album, and we thought we'd catch up again with her to talk about her new project, but also get a sense of what she has been up to. So you've been busy working on a new project. Lou, tell us about it.
Hey. It started a long time ago, Cathy. When I spoke to you last year, I was already busy with it. And I was now going to venues and testing the music to see how it's going to resonate with people, because my sound isn't just sound. It's actually a journey, where a journey woven from the threads of heritage and healing. It's my journey towards healing. So, it's been a long journey, but a beautiful one, I must say.
What about it? What about it, Lou, has made it so long? And what are the things that perhaps you've had to deal with on that journey? Because it sounds like it's been quite a personal one too for you.
Hey, it started during COVID. COVID halted everything that we had started, especially as artists. We were going to communities, we were trying to find ourselves through what's happening around us. And COVID happened, and, there was loss of jobs, there was loss of lives. So everything just turned around for everyone, And it looked like the country and even the whole world have normalized the unthinkable. So you had to go back to yourself and try and find yourself. What is this turning to? Do we need healing for the whole world? Or first it has to start with us. We started looking inside ourselves, to find out what is really happening with humanity. So that journey was halted until 2024, last year, when Samro decided, hey, those who had works that were not finished, please come forward. Let us know what do you need us to help you with. And then they helped. So that is when I went back and sat down and looked at the journey and finished this album, But what it did for me was it brought me closer to family. And I had to turn each journey, a program that weaves together music, heritage, sustainability, and community wellness. Njengoba I always go to schools, to communities with the Agnos No Boundaries. I told you about Agnos No Boundaries last year, ne?
Yes, you did. You did tell us about the work that you're doing through that particular organization. Okay, so I think I'm so glad to hear a positive story of artists being supported and, that actually having good results, because often we only get to hear about the artists that are waiting for support, that don't get it, and the impact that ends up having on their careers. So I'm so glad that there was a program and an initiative that you were able to be part of that has led you to part of where you are today, where you are now ready to release your album. We're going to continue the conversation with Lou Lamini and, of course, bring you more of her music.
The Copper Queens believe the only thing that will delight them is victory, but the Central Africans, DRC, plays to triumph. This is the Total Energies Women's Africa Cup of Nations Morocco 2024. Zambia versus Democratic Republic of the Congo on Saturday, 12 July at 9 p.m. Streaming live on SABC Plus and SABC Sport on DTT Channel 4. Where Africa competes, South Africa connects. Proudly brought to you by SABC Sport. 30 years ago, a moment united a nation. From Ellis Park to every township and village, we stood together. One people, one dream, one victory. Now, the vibration rises again. From the heart of Mzansi to every corner of the country. The 4-time world champions, the mighty Springboks, take on the Azuri in a clash where history meets destiny. This is more than a match. It's a country moment, only on SABC. Celebrate the 30th anniversary of our 1995 Rugby World Cup victory. Watch South Africa versus Italy, Saturday 12 July at 4 p.m. Live on SABC2 and streaming on SABC+. Also available on SABC radio stations at 5 p.m. Download the SABC Plus app now. Switch, stream, no subscription. SABC Sport.
For the love of the game.
Celebrating our music heritage right here on the Friday Wind Down.
And that there is Lwaphela Uvalo by Lou Lamini. We'll continue the conversation with her as our Friday wind down guest artist today. It's 11:30. Here's a look at your latest headlines.
Thank you, Cathy. On the news headlines, the 12 SANDF Special Task Force members accused of the murder of Hawks investigator Franz Matiba have been granted bail of 10,000 rand each. They appeared in the Randburg Magistrates Court north of Johannesburg this morning. The case against embattled businessman Vusumuzi Cathy Mohlahlana and his 3 co-accused have been postponed to next month at the Alexandra Magistrate Court. The 4, including Mohlahlana's wife, face multiple charges, including the attempted murder of Mohlahlana's ex-girlfriend. And Electricity Minister Dr. Hosianzu Ramogopa has outlined his department's priority of electrifying households that still remain without power 31 years into the country's democratic dispensation. A full update follows at the top of the hour.
Cathy Mohlahlana is streaming live now on Facebook, YouTube, and X at SAFM Radio. The Friday Wind Down. Kick off your weekend the right way.
We continue the conversation with Lou Lamini. Lou, we just played Lwaphela Uvalo. Tell us a bit about that song and what it is that you are wanting to evoke with the song.
Lwaphela Uvalo is actually a story about South Africa. You know, South Africa, there's a lot of stories that we don't tell. We always tell stories of conflict. It's the same thing with the artists. We always talk about poverty and things that are not happening right. And we don't really point out when things are getting better and when things are changing. And when we're also learning as artists to stand up and say, okay, this is our industry. We have to be a part of it and we have to contribute. So Lwaphela Uvalo, it's about a story that happened here in South Africa during the Anglo-Zulu War. And King Cetshwayo was arrested and he was taken to Cape Town, I think. Yes, he was taken to Cape Town. And that time, there were no tribes. The surnames were the tribes of this country. So he told the queen, he said, hey, my people are fighting in KwaZulu. Allow me to go there and create peace amongst my people, you know. And the queen said to him, no. If you want me to give you at least an audience, you must tell your people to give me 6,000 cows. And he wanted to give those cows to her soldiers who were lying hungry in Colenso here in KZN. And Uzibebu, who sympathized with the queen, decided, no, he'll move around families and collecting these cows and taking them so that they can feed those soldiers. But then Cetshwayo was so saddened by this in such a way that even when he got out of that prison, it was still a painful thing that happened to him. How can they make people babe poor ngalendlela? Because cows mean a lot to our culture. You see, it's our wealth. And so his son, Dinizulu, is the one who resolved that. He went straight to his father's friend, Louis Lamini, and nobody ever talks about that because it works for them when we are in conflict with each other. You know, it's Louis Lamini who went with Dinizulu to stop Uzibebu from impoverishing abantu and tata imfuyo yabo. You know, so it is those songs that I'm trying to think of. We do need to talk about irreconciliation yangempela yabantu. You know, there's even another song that has a story. It's got Dr. Madala Kunene. And the gentleman that actually destroyed Ishak, your grandmother yakhe, ngama-forceful removals ase-Mkhumbane. So this album is actually a story sokuhlanganisa everyone, to unify people and to make us remember we actually belong together. But also I had to put forward Makweyana, you know, because it's an instrument that was passed down through generations in our culture. And it's not just to create melodies, but it also has to, it resonates with the spirit and it soothes our souls. So it's all that. And Lwaphela Uvalo, I also featured Uqadas, David Jenkins. He's playing an instrument called umkhube. Uyazi umkhube, Kate?
No.
That instrument that
describe what it looks like. I'm going on to Google right now
it's a
to
curved
search
mouth
it.
bow. It's a curved
Oh,
mouth bow.
I
Oyifaka la
see.
emlomeni bese
Okay,
uyayisaka.
I don't know the original name or the authentic name. Ke mogope.
Kimhube.
Okay.
So I also wanted to hear ukuthi uzwana kanjani nomakhweyana, you know. And those are our healing sounds, you know. Kwangeyona ukuthi it's only to make music, but it also had something to do with indlela esifila ngayo emzimbeni yethu, you know. Because
Sure.
it
Lou,
hello.
Lou, there's just so much that you put into it. The research, the historical aspect of the music that you're putting together. How much time do you have to spend doing that? Because I mean, just the story that you've told us that went into Lwapelu Luvalo. It's just, you know, it's quite a historical record in and of itself.
Yeah, it's a long journey, and Cathy, that is why we can't release music every day, you know, unless it's people who have all that every day, which they can release music. Mina, I cannot. I have to live. I have to move around communities. I have to listen to, because most of my lecturers, they are in the rural areas sitting there. You know, most people about Palama thesis, they don't mention the mother, njengoba Vigile, the one who actually taught me ukuthi this is an ancient art of sound healing, umakhweyana, you know. So now I had to learn to harness the vibrations of umakhweyana ngaleyo ndlela. So I have to live before. That is where I hear all these stories, and I'm like, oh, so this is it. It helps me remember in life yomuntu before colonization, before apartheid. And it makes me look at myself and think, who were we then? Can't we go back to that? You know?
Absolutely. Thank you so much for those insights that you have shared with us. So, how many other stories then can we expect out of this upcoming album, Lou?
Each and every song has a story, Cathy. The first one, Ungcwele, in this country, but like I said, we have normalized the unthinkable, and we've lost that thing of telling each other, hey, Cathy, I care, I love you, I think of you, and I wish all the best for you, emhlabeni. We always take people sibayise emasontweni, kanti isonto umphefumulo wakho, and like I have to be able to tell you that you are holy, ungcwele, because you bring joy to other people, to encourage people with singcwele, you know. And another song, Ikandishembe Dube. Kandishembe Dube, all my songs have stories. Ikandishembe Dube, it was really touching because I was invited by an ensemble, Insurrections Ensemble. A mix yama musicians, nama poets from South Africa and India. You know, they always choose a theme every year and they research it, they read about it, and then they play or a show about it. So in one of the shows abang invited zona, the theme was Mahatma Gandhi. Must Gandhi fall? Like everything that was happening around us. Ghana, they were destroying his statues, saying he's racist. So I had to read about that. And in reading about that, I was commissioned, Uguta must write a song about it. So looking at things that were happening in my area in KZN, I had to find something that actually will make people come together instead of separating them. So a friend took me to the Gandhi Phoenix, the Phoenix settlement. It's where Gandhi used to teach the philosophy of Satyagraha. So I went there and I was received by his granddaughter, Ella. On the walls, it was so fascinating. I saw Babu Isaiah Shembe. And I learned that he was a composer of note. He had composed most of these hymns that are sang by Shembe Church, which is one of our like really authentically South African faiths. Angasho njalo, yena, he never lost le nto ukuthi when Christianity came, then he lost the African side of our praising the Almighty. You know, he merged it ukuthi kukwazi ukuthi kube ne-relation. So, and on the other wall, I saw Dube. Ubabe Dube, haibo. Dube, as you know, he was the first president of the ANC. He initiated Ilanga Lasenatali newspaper. He started a school that actually it gave us a lot of academics. It gave us a lot of people in power today. They started in that school, Ohlange. I don't know if you know it. It's in Inanda. And they were neighbors, you see. So I had to look at that and see what was common. And I heard Guti, yes, Guti, in that area, there were no wars when these three men were still alive because they sat down and discussed a way forward that would bring their people together. So I had to invoke their spirits in this song, you know, to ask them to look down on us and help us, because people are living in the streets now. People are going hungry. A lot is happening, and the establishments that they started or that they stood for, like the ANC, is fighting amongst each other right now. And people are complaining Uguti they're not being taken care of. Ushembe, sometimes you hear Uguti they are in court, they are fighting for monies, you know, and Gandhi Nanko, they are telling us that he was racist. So I was invoking their spirits to say, hey, please come show us the way forward. You know, help us get together, help us get along, help us rise from our ashes.
I'm just thinking about how's that for a piece of trivia, right? That Gandhi, Shembe, and Dube were all neighbors. That's something to keep in mind if you want to sound like the smartest person around the dinner table. You know, just throw it in there. Make it look like you know a lot of things about a lot of things. We'll take a quick break. We're in conversation with Lou Lamini. We're talking about her upcoming album titled Guido, which she has described as a long, deeply personal journey that she has been on. But as you can hear, so much history, so much research has gone into the work too. We'll take a quick break, and when we come back, Gandhi, Shembe, Dube is what you'll hear.
If you think you cannot afford a lawyer, think again. Clientele Legal has made professional legal services affordable for you. Whether it's a civil, criminal, or labor-related matter, we have a nationwide panel of attorneys standing by to assist you. SMS SAFM to 32195. That's SAFM to 32195, and we'll call you back. Clientele General is a licensed non-life insurer and an authorized FSP. Standard rates and terms and conditions apply.
I'm Shakira O'Malley and I'm a centre back. What I like so much about living in South Africa is the beaches. So being able to go to the beach and just relax and just let go of literally everything. I had a good laugh this morning at breakfast. I think we were all just having a conversation. Everybody was interacting. If I won $1 million after a good game, I'd definitely not tell my teammates. Definitely not. I'm taking that $1 million and going home. Tune in to SABC Sport to watch Banyana compete at the AFCON and defend another title.
Proudly brought to you by SABC Sport.
Hi, my name is Kutlwana Masote, your host of Weekend Sundowner Classics every Saturday and Sunday afternoon between the hours of 4 and 7 p.m. exclusively on SAFM. Now, this is where you get your best classical music jams on any radio platform. Join me every Saturday and Sunday afternoon between 4 and 7 p.m. Weekend Sundowner Classics.
celebrating our music heritage right here on the Friday Wind Down.
Bedu na ushiya lo mhlaba wasalukhulu engabe niyakubona nakushiya emhlabeni kanti shebedu sibukeni musana usifulathela izizulwane zisalizikhala zikhala ngani usizi lomuntu alushintshanga nezimpi zisadlangile kuyakhalwa emakhaya ake nivuke wabaphezulu vukani wabaphansi vukani wabasemhlabeni ake nivuke wabaphezulu vukani wabaphansi vukani wabasemhlabeni ake nivuke Shembedu nasisizwe sesilale emigaqweni asikaze thina silubona usizo lungaka kanti Shembedu sehlisele nomoya wokuthula nisilethele uxolo nokuzwana usizi lomuntu luyafana ithemba nalo liyalahleka buyisana ubuntu ake nivuke abaphezulu vukani kwabaphansi vukani kwabasemhlabeni ake nivukeni kwabaphezulu vukani kwabaphansi vukani kwabasemhlabeni ake nivukeni
Gandhi Shembe Dube, these are the sounds of Lou Lamini, our Friday wind down guest. We'll hear more from her and prepare to wrap up our conversation on the other side of this break.
The Atlas Lionesses want to demonstrate that the only satisfying result is a win. Meanwhile, the Teranga Lionesses want to brighten the evening of the Senegalese with maximum points. The North collides with the West. This is the Total Energies Women's Africa Cup of Nations Morocco 2024. Morocco is up against Senegal on Saturday 12 July at 8:30 p.m. Streaming live on SABC Plus and S3. Where Africa competes, South Africa connects. Proudly brought to you by SABC Sport.
For the love of the game.
If you think you cannot afford a lawyer, think again. Clientele Legal has made professional legal services affordable for you. Whether it's a civil, criminal, or labor-related matter, we have a nationwide panel of attorneys standing by to assist you. SMS SAFM to 32195. That's SAFM to 32195 and we'll call you back. Clientele General is a licensed non-life insurer and an authorized FSP. Standard rates and terms and conditions apply.
The Atlas Lionesses want to demonstrate that the only satisfying result is a win. Meanwhile, the Teranga Lionesses want to brighten the evening of the Senegalese with maximum points. The North collides with the West. This is the Total Energies Women's Africa Cup of Nations Morocco 2024. Morocco is up against Senegal on Saturday 12 July at 8:30 p.m. Streaming live on SABC Plus and S3. Where Africa competes, South Africa connects. Proudly brought to you by SABC Sport.
For the love of the game.
SABC News turns 75 on July the 17th, 2025.
Since the dawn of democracy, SABC News has grown into your trusted source for news and current affairs, shaping our nation and the world for the past 75 years.
From July 12th to the 17th, SAFM Current Affairs presents exclusive interviews with iconic presenters, producers, and news leaders.
We're exploring the legacy of SABC News, highlighting the voices that have defined our story.
Join SAFM for a week of compelling reports and unforgettable moments.
SABC News at 75.
Independent and impartial.
A powerful 5-part documentary series about the Springboks, telling the rousing tale of their path to redemption and ultimate World Cup glory in 2019. Starting 13 July at 7:30 p.m. on SABC 2. Tune in every Sunday for the highs, the heartache, and the heroics that made rugby history. Stream each episode on SABC Plus anytime, anywhere, no subscription needed. Don't miss Chasing the Sun this Sunday at 7:30 p.m. on SABC 2. Be there when history shines.
Cathy Mohlahlana is streaming live now on Facebook, YouTube, and X at SAFM Radio. Celebrating our music heritage right here on the Friday Wind Down.
Good morning, Sis Cathy. This is Lou Lamini. Right there, you are hosting a queen. Yo, that musician, I like so much her music. The type of the songs that will last forever. The songs that demonstrate our culture, we as Africans. Carry on, my sister.
All right, Lou, we've quickly run out of time. We're almost at the end of the show. So let me give you then an opportunity to tell us about when this album will be coming out and some of the events or projects that you'll be doing to promote it.
It's already out. It came out on the 27th. I had a launch at the Playhouse here in Durban. And on the 9th of August, I'll be in Cape Town. Celebrating Women's Day in another community radio station. I cannot mention the name because you'll kill me. But
no, we absolutely won't. We absolutely won't kill you, Lou.
Oh, I'll be on Bush Radio. They are celebrating because Bush Radio was one of the community radios that informed us so much when we were growing up. So it's really special that I'll be going to them on the 9th of August. And on the 13th of August, I'll be at UKZN. And in September, At Knows No Boundaries is doing their heritage rounds. And on the 11th of October, because we also promote the intergenerational bonds, we're going to the Tafta Wellness Center. And that's all I have for now. But seriously, it's not nice not to see you, Cathy. It's not nice talking to somebody on the phone. I don't know, it feels so funny and strange.
You see, next time we need to be able to arrange for you to either catch a flight to our studios, right, and meet me where I am. Because last time I traveled to you, Lou. So now it's time for you to return the favor. We're going to.
I'll have to make that happen.
We'll be closing off the show with Guido. Let me give you an opportunity to introduce it to all of our listeners. This is where we're going to wrap things up on the talking point for this week. The show back with you again next week, Monday, between 9 and midday. Have yourselves a lovely weekend. We're wrapping things up with Lou Lamini. And Lou, please introduce Guido to us.
Guido is a title track. It's my mother's name. It was derived from her real name, Guido Mena. I don't know if you know the story about Guido Mena. Guido Mena is Umkumbane here in KZN. It's a place with the same history as District 6 in Cape Town and Sophia Town in Johannesburg, where people lived together until in 1959. The Group Areas Act divided people and took them to townships, you know. So my mom was a grandmother to too many cultures. So I thought she's the right ancestor for me to call upon and say, hey, bring us together as the world, as cultures of this world, you know. And remind people that we need to love each other, you know, we need to see each other to love each other.
Sizaliwe nezingane amathembe sizwe bazosiqoqela ndawonye sisonke sibe munye sisho sithi tulakidome hlanganisa abantu bakho hlanganisa isizwe sakho hlanganisa abantu bakho hlanganisa isizwe sakho Guido Mena buka phela Guido Mena bakhulile abantu bakho nabo yimibalabala izinhlanga zawo wonke umhlaba ke siyeke ukuxabana sisodwa Guido Mena bathi umhlaba uhlangane bathi thina siwuthingo oluhlenge imibala yawo qeda izimpi qeda indlala izwe lethu sonke siligade ngawo wonke amandla hlanganisa abantu bakho hlanganisa isizwe sakho hlanganisa sabantu bakho hlanganisa isizwe sakho Kitobona isizwe sakho amandla sizwe lemibala.
On the top stories, a suspect arrested in connection with the murder of 11-year-old Jaden Lee Meek and Matlala's case postponed. For SAFM News, I am Lambana, and a very good day. A suspect has been arrested in connection with the murder of 11-year-old Jaden Lee Meek. The suspect is said to be a close relative of the deceased. The grade 5 learner's bruised body was found on the staircase of a complex in May this year, where he lives with his family in Vleuhof in Johannesburg. Meek was dropped off by his school transport at the complex, but according to the boy's mother, who was working from home at the time, her son never made it home. A multidisciplinary raid currently underway at 2 companies in Umbilo, south of Durban, aimed at addressing concerns raised by an intelligence report regarding the employment of undocumented immigrants. The raid is being led by South African Police Service as well as the Labour Department and the provincial government. KwaZulu-Natal Premier Taminduli says illegal immigrants found during the raid will be deported.
From the whistleblower that we are working with now to locate the illegal activities taking place in the province, in particular the issue of the undocumented foreign nationals and even the issue of the illicit goods. Then we learned that here there are undocumented foreign nationals, of which we have made a call even to the business leaders in the province that they must stop hiring the undocumented foreign nationals or illegal foreign nationals.
Police are on the scene of a shack fire that claimed the lives of 5 members of the same family at the Olive and Hartbosch informal settlement in Pretoria. The cause of the fire is not known at this stage. Local ward councillor Kenneth Masha says the entire community has been left in shock.
From the people that were in the house or in the shack, all 5 of them perished. We have now one of the mothers of the 2 victims who seem not to have been in the shack during the incident. So far, she is one of the surviving members of this family that we have met.
The 12 SANDF Special Task Force members accused of the murder of Hawks investigator Franz Matipa have been granted bail of 10,000 rand each. They appeared in the Randburg Magistrate Court north of Johannesburg this morning. The 12 are also charged with alleged kidnapping of Ethiopian national and alleged ISIS leader Abdullah Abadiga and his bodyguard in December 2022. Matipa was reportedly investigating Abadiga's disappearance when he was gunned down near Hammanskraal in Pretoria in August 2023. Electricity Minister Josiento Ramakgopa has outlined his department's priority of electrifying households that still remain without power 31 years into the country's democratic dispensation. Following the tabling of his department's budget vote in Parliament yesterday, Ramakgopa said unelectrified households, particularly in areas including informal settlements, deep rural areas and newly formed housing developments, now account for 1.6 million households. Recapping the top story, a suspect has been arrested in connection with the murder of 11-year-old Jaden Lee Meek. The suspect is said to be a close relative of the deceased. The grade 5 learner's bruised body was found on the staircase of a complex in May this